Welcome to Visibility with Purpose. My name is Sigrid Kaste. I'm a global online networking and visibility strategist.
Hello, I'm Lynnaire Johnston, a LinkedIn and AI visibility specialist. Each week, the two of us explore what it actually takes for senior professionals to become visible, recognized, and trusted online.
Today, we have a juicy topic. We're going to be talking about why do less visible people often get better business opportunities?
And I really love this topic, Sigrid, and I invite anybody who's watching to make a comment or share their ideas below, because we always like to hear how our viewers are taking in the things that we say. So I'd like to start, I think, on this one about really looking at the question itself, because it really begs an answer. And I'm not entirely certain at this point in our discussion, right at the beginning, what my answer is going to be on this, or even whether I agree with the question that people who are less visible often get better business opportunities. And so I would really like to begin, I think, with asking the question, what constitutes a business opportunity? So for me, that is somebody who's interested in learning about LinkedIn. For Sigrid, it's likely to be somebody who wants to become involved with networking online. And so understanding what a business opportunity is, I think, the important thing before we even begin to answer the question, Sigrid. So is that where you would like to take this discussion today?
I think you're absolutely correct, Lynnaire. It does take taking apart and giving the meaning to each of the components of this particular question. So better business, your interpretation of that, excellent. We can widen that. I could perhaps look at better business opportunities, meaning that you might be invited to more places, events, opportunities where you can speak, so that your business opportunity would be to promote yourself, to be in rooms with people that potentially might be likely clients, future clients of you. So that could be a business opportunity in my thinking as well. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go much further than that at this point in time, because that kind of creates business directly. That's how I would see it, alongside of what you've just shared, how you've interpreted that one, Lynnaire. So take it now to the next interpretation of less visible people. What does that mean?
All right. Well, I think that the question is all around whether or not your content is being seen. Now, as we both know, visibility on content is at an all-time low, but engagement on content is at an all-time high. And LinkedIn has recently put out numbers that say that engagement is up quite a high level from what it was last year. And that's because engagement is the key strategy in 2026. So a lot more people, I think, are using commenting than posting to get their message across. And that's a completely different visibility tool than we have used before. Of course, engagement has always been with us and it's always been important, but it's not really been something that we have seen be used in exactly this way. So that almost, in effect, engagement or comments on posts become mini posts in themselves. And I've seen some people write quite long comments that really do give them an opportunity to share their ideas almost in as much detail as the post itself. And that's where you can get the visibility, because people who are coming to the post and reading the comments, which inevitably they do if they're interested in the discussion, will then be able to see what your opinions are, what your ideas are, and where your authority on the question lies. And so I'm seeing this whole visibility question in a completely different way from the way I did last year. Now, let's remember that I'm a professional writer by trade, and so content has been my business for a very long period of time. But I know that that's not what LinkedIn is only all about. LinkedIn is also about building relationships, Sigrid, and that's your area of authority and an area that you use LinkedIn in a completely different way.
Absolutely. And here is the direction I'm going to pull this particular topic into now. Less visible people getting better business. I would interpret that in this way. You can be simply in videos every so often. You are visible occasionally in a video without constantly creating content. And you can be visible networking live into LinkedIn. For example, every first and third Wednesday of a month and the networking on offer. So you are not visible all the time, but you're visible as a person live on LinkedIn or in a video, not as much as commenting everywhere and content creation everywhere, but you are visible in strategic positions. So in the networking opportunity, you get business from creating those relationships within that networking online room, with the people in the room and with the people on the outside commenting at the time of networking or even after. So you're not too visible or less visible to perhaps to those who constantly put out content, but you are visible and you're getting the business directly there and then where you are visible. Similarly to perhaps videos. Videos, while I love being on camera as such, is not something I do produce a lot. However, those are the two I would now bring into play for being less visible and getting better business. How do you see that, Lynnaire? Does that align a little bit with your?
It certainly does. And what you've done by introducing a video, of course, is a new dimension on this. And of course, what that is taking visibility literally, isn't it? You are then visible, particularly on a video on LinkedIn. And this year, LinkedIn is making more of an effort to bring videos back to our feed. They were there and popular for quite a while when LinkedIn had a standalone video feed, but for most of the world, apart from the US, that had been discontinued and now it is coming back. I don't have that yet, but what I am seeing already is more video in my feed. Now, I think there are a couple of reasons why video is important in terms of visibility. One is because people respond well to video. They get to know you better. They get to see you in action and see you speaking, and they can also take away ideas from what you're talking about. So they can add value, I think, to people's knowledge. And it then builds your reputation. Now, I don't think overdoing video and doing video content only is a good idea, but because I've always maintained that a variety of content is the best way to do posting on LinkedIn. But video is one of the ones that people mostly don't like to do. And I understand that is a bit of a barrier to overcome. But I do believe that video is a very good way to physically make people more visible on LinkedIn and shouldn't be underestimated for its power, Sigrid. And I think that then feeds into the events as well, which are a different kind of video, of course, and the way that you do that with the global online networking events where people can be seen on LinkedIn on a live basis. And that, again, can build your reputation, I think, and also your professional identity when you're talking with other people, other like-minded people in that way.
That's a really good lead in for me to the sort of concluding point I wanted to bring into this conversation, Lynnaire, which is, being less visible can also create the opportunity for business, for more business, if there is visibility of you through others. If I talk about you, if I mention you, we talk this new feature, collaborative posts, which we will go into more detail in another episode, for example. So you might not be visible, but you get the business opportunities because there is visibility through others happening. A big point in my area of working in the networking sphere that I offer, for example. So I think we've really shared quite a few different points, some exciting opportunities, and certainly explained from our perspective why less visible people can certainly get better business opportunities. Would you like to share a concluding point for this topic, Lynnaire?
Yes, I would, Sigrid. And I would like people to take away just this very simple thing. Visibility is very different from being seen. And visibility is all about how you portray yourself across LinkedIn. It's about your presence. So it's not just your content, it is your profile, it is your engagement, your direct messaging, and other activities that you do on LinkedIn. It is a combined effort for you to be visible through your entire LinkedIn presence. That would be my key message today, Sigrid. And yours?
That's a well wrap there, Lynnaire, and I think that is brilliant because it's leading us into the topic that I have, or that we have for the next time already. And I'm going to announce next time we'll be talking about, are you building visibility or just being seen? I think you've just touched on that with your finalization of this particular one. So we're really looking forward to going into that one next time.
So thank you for joining us today. And if you found this useful, please share it with a colleague and use the links in the description below to connect with us on LinkedIn, and also to find out more about how we can help you become more visible online.
And until next time, be visible, be valuable, be remembered.